Tara, thank you so much for joining me on Bollywood Film Fame Canada. The one thing that I think is universal about the reaction that the trailer has received is that we have no idea what's going on.
Yes. That's
Halfway through the trailer, I'm like, okay, all right, okay. Looks like, it
yeah.
has the meat and the bones of the first film. And then it twists and there's a turn, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And that has piqued my curiosity enough that I want to watch the film, right? I want to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
But tell me, when there is obviously the trailer itself makes it seem as though there's some twists and some turns and some things that we may not expect at all. From your end, how do you develop a character where, without giving too much away, obviously, how do you develop a character as an actor where you know that there are going to be some twists and some turns? Is that tricky?
So when we're filming, obviously there are certain things that you do have to keep in mind. Like I would ask, is this next shot going to be in the trailer? Is this going to be in the songs? Okay, then I need to be mindful about what I'm thinking and how I'm projecting this part right now, because I want the audiences to think of this when they see it. And obviously I'm being vague right now because I can't really get into it. But it's I think what you just said kind of explains what my answer is. You said that you watched it and you thought you knew what was happening midway in the trailer, and then at the end of it you were like, hang on, what is going on? You know what I mean? And I watched the film as recently as a week or two ago, like the final edit or whatever, and despite having been a part of this film for the last 2 years, I found myself wondering what was going on. I was just like, 1 second, we shot this, but now it's this, and oh my God, did this person really just do that? So I was doing that. I can just imagine what the audiences are going to feel when they watch the film. And there are, like you said, tons of twists and turns. There usually are in Bollywood films, but this one is just like a lot. There's a lot going on.
Right. Talk to me about the chemistry that you must have, obviously, with Arjun, but also there seems to be a chemistry that you need to have with Disha as well. Tell me about the chemistry that's required for a film which is an edge of the seat thriller, because it's very different than, a rom-com or buddies going out. What's the kind of chemistry you require?
So I think in any film that requires a certain amount of intensity or darkness or depth, which is obviously a thriller or a suspenseful kind of film like this, as a person, it's just a personal thing. I like to have a deep connection with the person that I'm shooting with, because that's just the person I am. Even with my personal relationships and friendships, I choose to get to know somebody on a very, very deep level. It's just something that I like to do because I'm that kind of person. And I want someone to know me as well, right back. I'm very fortunate to have worked with Arjun on this film. He's somebody who I got to know just 2 years ago when we started working on the film. And I didn't really know him very well before. And I had no idea what he was all about. And it's literally like, I wouldn't say on day one, but on day two, we started becoming very, very close. And we just, we were like this, we still are this inseparable pair. Like even when we're promoting, like he's brushing my hair, I'm pinching his cheeks, he's dropping his food on me. Like it's just a mess. And it's just amazing because we've had such insightful conversation, but we've also been just these mad friends who can do and say anything to each other. And I really value that. Because in this line of work, I don't think it's every day that you come across a real friendship. And I am very, very grateful to have that with Arjun. And the chemistry with Disha has been so exciting, even feedback wise for her and I both, because there's a shot at the end of our trailer where there's the two of us having a bit of a laugh, which kind of makes you wonder, wait, did they do something bad in this film? What could it be? And I think that was intentionally put there for that purpose. But I'm getting to know her through the promotions. And so our rapport and our equation is just building every single day. And we are promoting every day. We're going to different cities every day.
Right.
So it's great to get to know her, because I didn't get to know her very much when we were filming, because we had the few scenes that we did have together were very intense. So it's not possible to have a, you know, banter or laughing kind of conversations with somebody when there's that intense a scene that we had to shoot. So it's nice to get to know her through the promotions.
Nice. Let me ask you this. One of the things that I've always observed as a viewer and, you know, somebody who consumes Bollywood films and somebody who consumes just cinema generally on a global level, I find that oftentimes my source of disappointment in thrillers comes from the woman being treated as somebody who's interchangeable, right? You know, we just need a pretty face. We need her to wear these kind of clothes. We need her to, you know, look pretty for the camera for a little bit. But there's no, we don't get to know the soul. We don't get to know the heart. We don't get to know the woman at all. I mean, if you ask somebody to describe a woman from a thriller, oftentimes it'll be pretty scared, vulnerable, and vulnerable not in the deep sense, but vulnerable as in like she always needs help. She's helpless. Tell me about your criteria for saying yes to the character that you play in this film, and whether you had the same sort of apprehensions initially anyway.
I have that apprehension and those questions and those thoughts in my head all the time, because I've been raised in a household which has very, very strong women with very strong opinions and that speak their mind and aren't afraid to do that. So I've always stood up for myself in the capacity that I can, and even beyond, which has gotten me into some trouble before, but it's fine. Worth it. I completely understand what you're saying. It's a good question. It's hard, you know, in an industry that is still somehow controlled by men to change that perspective. It's great that today we are able to have a conversation about this, because till a few years ago, this conversation did not even exist and people were just afraid to bring it up. Things are changing slowly, but they are changing. And you know, I intentionally want to, in my career, do roles that change the narrative and change the perspective, because I think till we don't actually do that, until people don't actually write roles for us, or if we don't do it ourselves, and we should do it ourselves, that's not going to change. This damsel in distress, your generic run-of-the-mill heroine vibe is going to continue forever. I've personally been a part of a few films like that, and I've also not intentionally. I did a film called Tadup where I played the bad guy intentionally, because I was like, there are so many shades to us as women that we have not explored in film. And I know that there were some other young actresses that were very afraid to play that role because they didn't want their personal perception to change. And I completely understand and respect that. I just feel like if I don't do it, and I'm an advocate of feminism and believing that everything is equal and everything should be fair, and we do have these shades to us, where we'd be kidding ourselves as women or as a people if we said that we don't have villainous qualities to us. And that's just more fun. That makes people more exciting. It makes us more humane. And I think that that's why Ek Villain has given Disha and I that opportunity to show that, sorry, just got cut for a sec. It's given us that opportunity to just show that, you know, women can be the bad guys, they can be the bad girls. We can have as much fun as the guys do in film. In fact, we can have more. And I think the last shot of our trailer kind of shows that as well, which is what leaves everybody so much more excited, because you don't see that a lot in Hindi films. And I do hope that that changes. And I'm definitely going to be having this conversation with a lot of other people. And I'm sure lots of other young actors will as well after seeing this. So that's the hope. And yep, let's see where it goes.
And, you know, picking up on the humane aspect and making sure that you are showing different shades of characters who happen to be women. To wrap up, my question for you is, if you had to take your character from this film out for a coffee, what would you ask her?
Oh God. Well, this is a tricky question because I don't
I know,
wanna-
I know. I recognize that as I say it.
Yeah. So what I'll tell you something. She's the reason I kind of resonate with my character specifically, obviously, is because her and I have a lot in common. We're both strong and independent young women. We say what we mean and we mean what we say. We are absolutely obsessed with music and will do whatever it takes to be heard, both personally and musically. So I think I just ask her about what's made her so tough, because I do recognize that as a young woman, there are reasons as to why we become tough, defensive, and we feel we need to answer certain things sometimes when we probably don't even need to. So there are tons of questions, woman to woman, that I'd probably ask her. I do know a lot of the answers because I kind of played her, but like I would still ask her the questions anyway, because I think it's important for other young women to hear as well.
Fantastic. Tara, thank you so much for your time. Wonderful answers, wonderful conversation. Thank you so much. All the very best for the film. Looking forward to it.
Much. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.